I'm a cop, and my town is dying from fear. The moon hung low over Ridgewater Creek, dull and swollen, barely strong enough to push its light through the trees that pressed in around the town like a tightening fist. I shut my cruiser door and stepped onto the gravel road. The crunch beneath my boots sounded far too loud in the stillness as I walked toward the crime scene. Red and blue lights strobed through the darkness, flashing against the trunks of the surrounding forest. Officers murmured quietly behind the tape, but my attention was locked on the body lying at the center of it all. The smell hit me first. Wet earth, rusted metal, old blood. It clung to the back of my throat, heavy and sour, like something that didn't belong in the open air. I pulled my scarf higher and ducked under the yellow tape, my flashlight already in hand. The victim was Gregory Tate, late 30s, high school teacher, married, no children. He lay flat on his back, arms spread wide, fingers curled into the dirt as if he tried to claw his way free of something invisible. There were no cuts, no bruises, no signs of a struggle. Then my beam reached his face. His mouth was stretched impossibly wide, frozen in a silent scream. His eyes bulged from their sockets, glassy and unblinking, locked in an expression of absolute terror. It didn't look like a man who had died. It looked like a man who had seen something he wasn't meant to. I swallowed hard as memories of 2 other scenes surfaced in my mind. 2 deaths in the past 14 days, both just as wrong as this one. I swept my light across the ground and noticed something else. A circle, crudely etched into the dirt, surrounding the body like a boundary. Near his feet, jagged symbols had been scratched into the soil letters. Maybe, but not from any language I recognized. It felt deliberate, ritualistic. The other victims had been found the same way. Back at the station the next morning, I sat alone with the case files spread across my desk. Clara Evans, store clerk, found dead in her living room, slumped in the corner, no forced entry. A circle drawn around her in lipstick, symbols near her feet. She'd quit her job days before and told coworkers she felt like she was being watched. Jack Monroe, mechanic, found dead in his garage. Tools scattered everywhere. He'd barricaded himself inside days earlier, convinced something was outside his house at night. A child's toy bus lay beside his body. Gregory Tate, teacher, increasingly afraid to leave home after sunset, jumpy, paranoid. Then one night, he walked into the woods and never came back. 3 people, no connection except the fear. And the objects. Each body had been found with a strange item nearby. A hand mirror, a toy bus, a fountain pen. All outdated, all relics from decades past. Sergeant Holbrook didn't like where it was heading. "This is devil work," he muttered more than once. He'd grown pale as the days passed, as if something in these scenes stirred memories he didn't want to face. The town felt it too. Whispers spread. Old stories resurfaced. People remembered deaths from 50 years ago, unexplained, sudden, terrifying. When photos leaked online, panic followed fast. That afternoon, Holbrook brought me the coroner's report. All 3 victims were healthy. No drugs, no injuries. Cause of death: cardiac arrest due to extreme stress. It felt like a lie written on official letterhead. "Officer Harper," Holbrook said quietly, "the mayor wants you at town hall." My stomach tightened. The meeting was packed. Parents held their children close. Teenagers whispered nervously. Elderly residents watched me with eyes that carried too much memory. I stood at the podium and did my best. Stay indoors after dark. Report anything unusual. We're doing everything we can. Most of them nodded, Some didn't believe me. One woman stood out. Silver hair, calm posture, hands folded neatly in her lap. While everyone else radiated fear, she looked detached. After the meeting, I approached her. Her name was Ruth. She accepted a ride home. Her house smelled of lavender and old wood. The walls were lined floor to ceiling with books, ancient spines mixed with pristine covers, all carefully arranged. You seemed calm tonight, I said. Fear makes people blind, she replied gently. Clarity requires distance. When I asked what she thought was happening, she didn't answer immediately. Instead, she retrieved an old leather-bound book and opened it to an illustration. A body, a circle, symbols. My blood ran cold. Jurupari, she said. The voice of fear. According to the legend, it fed on terror, drew it out, consumed the soul once fear reached its peak. It's been here before, she said. 50 years ago. A young sergeant named Henry Cross had investigated back then. He'd disappeared. The killings stopped. That night, my phone rang. Another victim. Location: the old sawmill. The place was rotting, abandoned, forgotten. A wrecked jeep sat smashed into its side. One man was dead. Another barely alive. Inside the mill, something felt wrong. The fireplace had been sealed decades ago. When we moved the jeep, the bricks collapsed. Inside was a skeleton clutching a blood-stained book. Sergeant Henry Cross. Later that night, at home, I opened his journal. And everything changed. He had hunted the thing, learned how it worked, how it used objects to draw out buried trauma, how it fed. He had trapped it, but not destroyed it. As I read, the bloodstain on the cover faded. New words appeared, written in blood. He was still alive, trapped inside the journal. The thing was free again, and it knew me. The water in my bathtub began to ripple. The journal tore itself from my hands. Something pulled me under. Fear flooded my lungs. Memories weren't mine. Claustrophobic terror, screaming children, locked doors, helplessness. Then a voice. Fight. A man with a thick mustache, determined eyes. Henry Cross. I fought. I broke free. When I surfaced, something else was in the room. A dark, formless presence, watching from the shadows. I shattered the mirror, grabbed a shard. It vanished, but it wasn't gone. The killings won't stop, and now I know who helps it. Ruth. She's been feeding it, delivering the objects, continuing the cycle. I'm the last cop in Ridgewater Creek, and this story isn't over. I wake up in the middle of the night. No reason, no dream, just awake. I turn onto my right side. The mattress presses into my shoulder in a way that suddenly feels unbearable. I flip to the left. Better. I pull the blanket up to my chin and let out a slow breath, waiting for sleep to return. It doesn't. The apartment is silent. Too silent. My girlfriend is away visiting her parents, and she took our dog with her. He loves the forest trails near their house, and I couldn't deny him that. I would have gone too, but my vacation got canceled at the last minute, so it's just me. I lie there staring into the dark, trying to relax, when I hear it. A sound. Short. Faint. So brief, I almost convinced myself I imagined it. I hold my breath and listen. Nothing. Probably the dishes in the sink shifting. I left them stacked too high. A fork slipping against a plate. Wood settling in the cabinets. Old buildings make noises. I roll onto my back and try again to sleep, but I'm fully awake now. There's a strange frustration in realizing You've already had enough sleep, and your body refuses to go back. A pair of headlights sweeps across the ceiling. For a moment, the room appears in pale motion chair in the corner, with my clothes draped over it. Dresser. The faint, red standby light of the TV. I usually hate unnecessary lights in the bedroom, but I never unplug the TV. My girlfriend teases me about it. The light fades. Darkness returns. Another car passes. The beam moves slowly across the wall, over the door, over the handle, over a hand resting on the handle. My heart stops. The light disappears. Darkness swallows everything again. I don't breathe. My eyes stay locked on the door. There's nothing there. There can't be. I wait for another car. I need the light. I need proof. Seconds stretch. My heartbeat pounds in my ears. The darkness thickens until it feels physical, pressing against my eyes. Shapes begin forming. Lines, contours. Something taller than the handle. Something that wasn't there before. It's too dark to see. My mind is filling in blanks. That's all. Turn on the lamp. Just reach over and switch it on. But the lamp is to my left. The door is to my right. If something is there, reaching away from it feels like offering my throat. Don't move. Don't let it know you're awake. Another set of headlights sweeps across the room. The door is empty. Relief floods me so fast, it almost hurts. Of course, there was nothing. I've always been like this in the dark. As a kid, I slept with the light on because I couldn't turn it on once I was scared. It had to already be lit. The car passes. Darkness again. And suddenly the relief feels premature. Whatever I thought I saw didn't have to stay by the door. It could have moved. A faint click echoes somewhere in the apartment. My pulse spikes. That wasn't the dishes. Too sharp. Too deliberate. Another car. Light rushes through the room. I move fast this time, grabbing for the lamp cord, but I fumble. My fingers slide along it uselessly. Find the switch. Find it. My hand hits the base of the lamp, and I jerk back, startled by my own touch. Panic surges. I grab the cord with both hands and finally feel the switch. Click. Warm yellow light floods the room. Empty. Completely empty. I scan every corner. Under the chair. Behind the dresser. The door. Nothing. I sit there breathing hard, feeling stupid. It was my imagination. That's all. Still, I get up and lock the bedroom door, just in case. Back in bed, I find the remote right beside my pillow. I turn on the TV. Late-night garbage fills the screen ads for phone lines, documentaries, static channels. I flip until I land on an infomercial about some kitchen gadget that dices vegetables with aggressive enthusiasm. The TV light fills the room in flickering blues and whites. It's enough. I press my alarm clock. 3 a.m. I should sleep. I reach for the water bottle beside my bed and take a sip. The carbonation hits wrong and I cough, eyes watering. The cold glass feels grounding in my hands. I try to focus on the TV, but my bladder starts to complain. I ignore it. I change channels. Found footage horror. No thanks. Bob Ross. Better. Cartoons. Infomercials again. The pressure builds. Just go to the bathroom. It's a short walk down the hallway. You do it every day. I swing my legs off the bed quickly, almost jumping clear of the mattress. Nothing grabs me. Good. I stand, trying not to look under the bed. I step toward the door, and something sharp stabs into my foot. I yelp. A chewed dog bone. Splintered. Annoyance flares, masking fear. I unlock the bedroom door and open it. The hallway is black. I run. I don't walk. I run like a child, flip the bathroom light on, slam the door, lock it. Relief crashes through me. I stand there longer than necessary, as if emptying my bladder completely will also drain the fear. When I'm done, I wash my hands and stare at the door. Without the urgency, leaving feels harder. I open it. The hallway is dim blue, now dawn creeping in. Nothing there. I step out. The apartment feels ordinary in morning light, harmless. I go to the kitchen, pour myself a glass of water from the sink. One of the plates in the basin is cracked clean in half. I don't remember doing that. I shrug it off. Sleep deprivation. As I walk back toward the bedroom, I realize the TV is silent. The screen is black. It must have turned off automatically. Fine. I enter the room. Everything looks normal. I step toward the bed and reach for my alarm clock, and something grabs my ankles. Cold hands. Violent. I don't understand at first. My body reacts before my brain does. I lunge forward and grab the mattress as I'm yanked backward. The grip tightens. My shins slam into the bed frame. Pain explodes. I scream. I kick, but the hands don't loosen. They squeeze harder, bones grinding. Something cracks wood or bone. I don't know. Then, needles. Thousands of sharp points piercing into my toes, over and over, like something sewing through flesh. My vision blurs. I lose my grip. I fall backward. My head hits the floor, but I barely feel it. Through the haze of pain, I lift my head just enough to see under the bed. A pale face stares back, still watching, teeth thin and pointed, eyes unblinking. It looks almost curious, as if surprised. I noticed. Then the hands pull, and I slide into the dark beneath the bed. It was a little after 3 a.m. when the knocking started again. Slow, careful, 3 taps at a time. I lay there staring at my ceiling, already knowing who it was. Chris. This made 4 nights in a row. I dragged myself out of bed, muttering curses as my feet hit the cold floor. If he ruins one more night of my break, I swear, I just wanted sleep. Just one night without thinking about my entry exam or his increasingly disturbing family. I didn't bother with the lights. The television downstairs was still on, casting that dull blue glow through the hallway. Dad was passed out on the couch again. I didn't try to be quiet this time. If Chris was going to wake me up, he could wake everyone up. I yanked the door open. "Where is she?" Chris didn't answer. He just turned and walked back toward his house. His sister was sitting on their porch, straight-backed, hands folded in her lap, pajamas soaked from the dew, eyes closed. "She's doing it again," Chris whispered. "I don't want to deal with it alone." Sleepwalking. That's what it had been all week. She'd wander out of the house, sit somewhere strange, and refuse to wake up. At first, it was creepy. Now, it was exhausting. "Why can't you handle it yourself?" I asked. "I just don't like being alone with her like that." I sighed. "Fine. Let's get her inside." We guided her back to my house like we'd done before. She moved easily enough, slow, stiff steps, but cooperative. We sat her at the kitchen counter under the flicker of the news channel. Chris tried whispering her name. Nothing. We clapped, shook her shoulders. Nothing. Then, without warning, her eyes opened. They didn't blink. They didn't focus on either of us. They were fixed on the window. 2 days later, she disappeared. Police searched everywhere. No signs of forced entry. No footprints. Nothing. Chris stopped leaving his house. Then the storm came. He called me just after midnight. I don't trust them, he whispered. Trust who? My family. Something's wrong. They're all doing it now. Doing what? Sleepwalking. I sat up in bed. You mean your sister? She stopped. No, it's my mom, my dad, my brother. There was knocking on his end of the line. Slow, careful. 3 taps. Chris? I whispered. My door's open, he said. Silence. Then the call dropped. Gunshots woke the neighborhood. By morning, Chris's sister's body had been found near my house, shot. But before police could secure the scene, the body vanished. No blood, no drag marks, just gone. That night, my friends Dan and Maria were over. The storm flooded the roads, so they stayed. We heard more gunshots. Then someone knocked. The front door was open. Chris was upstairs. He had a gun. It's not human, he said. It copies people. He told us he'd killed his family. Said something came out of them after they died. Something that looked like them. He'd shot his brother in my driveway. Shot his sister. Buried them. But they kept coming back. We searched the house. We found one of them in a closet. It looked exactly like his sister. Until Dan shot it through the eye. It didn't bleed normally. It didn't move normally. It just folded. We thought it was over. Until Dan asked Chris how he escaped being locked in a closet earlier. Chris said he used the knife. Dan slowly raised his hand. I have the knife. Chris didn't blink. His eyes went black. Completely black. His jaw opened wider than it should have. And it screamed. Maria shot him twice. The thing wearing Chris dropped instantly. The official story was simple. Chris killed his family. Then himself. Case closed. I went back to campus a week later. I barely slept. Early one morning, my roommate came home and crouched beside my bed. You okay? He asked gently. I smiled at him. Yeah, I said. Everything's fine. Outside my window, 3 slow knocks echoed through the dark.